Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about investing into the S&P 500, the 500 largest and best companies in the US. I am not a financial advisor. I am just here sharing my journey, and this will be a great video for beginners to show you how you can get started. Let me get more into detail about the S&P 500. I'm going to share my results on my investing into FXAIX as well as VOO. So the S&P index was started back in 1926. Back then, it was comprised of 90 companies. As of 1957, it's been holding 500 of the top US companies. And this chart here, as well as the breakdown that I'm going to share and show you below, shows you the rate of return by year of the S&P 500. And then, as I said, I'm going to show you some funds that you can invest into to have this type of exposure all through one investment. There definitely are some red years here when the index was down. Investing does have risk, but overall, if you give it time, the market will recover. As you can see, in 2022, the market was significantly down. We have negative 18.11%, but then in 2023, we're up 26.29%. On average, you can expect at least a rate of return of 10%. But depending on your age, you can remember some of these harder years that we've been through. For example, 2008, when the market was down 37%. It was a very hard economic time. Even looking back to 73, 74, the market was significantly down. But you see recovery in 1975. The index has been around since 1926. You can easily go ahead, do research, and see the history of the performance. Another thing that I was taking a look at was this Fortune 500 listing found on CNN Money, where you can filter it by year and see what companies were in the Fortune 500. Back 20 years ago in 2004, Walmart was number 1 on the list. Today, Walmart is number 28 on the list. And one of my favorite companies is not currently 1, but it's number 2 on the list, which is Apple. Apple and Microsoft are topping the list right now. So when you invest into the funds that I'm going to be sharing with you, or any funds from Vanguard or Schwab or whatever you choose that is tied to the S&P 500. For example, if you were to invest $100, you would be getting about $7 worth of Microsoft stock, $7 worth of Apple stock, $3 of NVDA, and so on. You're getting a little piece of each of these companies. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about FXAIX. I've been investing into this since late September. I closed an account at Empowerment and started a new IRA at Fidelity, and I had to get started with investing my money. And my first investment choice was FXAIX. So it closed out the year at $165.49. It is the Fidelity 500 Index Fund. Both of my funds that I get exposure to the Fortune 500, the S&P 500 through, have a low expense ratio. And that is the management fee that you pay when you invest into these type of index funds or ETFs. By investing into the fund, you get diversification. You will be able to access, as I said, whether you're with Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, or you do it in your own taxable account. The funds have solid returns, overall strong performance, and even Warren Buffett would recommend that this would be a way to get started. I do invest into individual stocks like Apple and Tesla and Google, but ETFs is a way to have some stability, start off your portfolio, have a strong foundation. And if you want broader exposure than just the US stock market, you can find an ETF that gives you that exposure. But I personally would also include an ETF like this. So as I said, I started investing late September, and by year end, I was at $50,000 invested. So my total gain on the account has been $4,988. which is 9.97%. My share size is 332 shares, and my average cost is $150.60. And as I said, we closed out the year at $165.49. I've received 2 dividend payments so far. In October, $44.52, and in December, $232.08. Going into 2024, I'm going to continue to dollar cost average. Because it is my IRA account, I am putting larger amounts than, in my other accounts, which I will show you in a minute. But I will be looking out for price points like we had in October when it dipped down into the 140s. Okay, so that was a look at FXAIX in my IRA, but I'm also investing into VOO, and I'm doing that over in my taxable account on Webull. This is VOO, which is the Vanguard 500 Index Fund. I did some comparisons between VOO and FXAIX back when I started investing into it in September. I will link that video. So definitely a higher price point than my fund that I'm doing in my IRA, and this has a slightly higher expense ratio at 0.03. I've been investing into VOO for a little over a year now, and I have 12.1 shares, and that investment is up 10.47% for me. And this is how I started off the beginning of last year, 2023. You see here, I'm buying $5, $10 at a time. And at that time, the fund was $349. We closed out the year at $436.80. So this is how I look at building my portfolios. Just because I have $5 or $10, I'm not going to let the day pass. If I'm just going to invest whatever I have, and I'm going to build up my share sizes. Dollar cost averaging and buying fractional shares has given everyone the opportunity to invest. You can get started with $5. You don't have to know when is the best day to invest. Invest every day, get a handle of the price fluctuations, and when the market really dips, you can go heavier. But I'm not just going to sit by and let time pass and I'm not investing at all. I'm just continuously being consistent with my investing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're ready to open a new account, use my links that will be in the description. So for the rest of the video, I'm going to talk about how do you invest? How do you get started investing as a beginner? As I've described here, I have 2 accounts. I have an IRA. I have my taxable account at Webull. My daughter has a UTMA account at Fidelity also. These are accounts that I can invest into the Fortune 500 companies through the types of funds that I just shared, VOO and FXAIX, for example. But there are funds similar to these. With this step, opening a brokerage account, you are going to be on your way to being a shareholder, owning a piece of these companies. So you're going to have to show your ID, your social security card. You're going to have to go through all of the steps with the brokerage company that you are using. For my daughter, I also had to even show her birth certificate, social security number, all of that type of information in setting up your account. And you have to link the account to a bank account in order to fund it. Once you have that done, once you have some funds in there, then you have to make your investment choices. These are just 2 investment choices that I've made, give you, as I described, diversification, simplicity. The fund is just going to give you exposure to the 500 best companies, whatever it is, year after year. Just like I showed you 20 years ago, it was Walmart. Now Walmart isn't even in the top 10. And then from there, dollar cost average, be consistent. I've invested $2.50. I've given my daughter the assignment. I gave her $20 one week and I told her invest $4 daily into a particular ETF. It might not sound like much, but over time, being consistent, even with a small amount, I've been able to achieve share sizes of 100 shares of Realty Income, 50 shares of Apple stock, little by little. very rarely buying a full share at a time. Most of the time, it's $20, $5, $10. This type of investment is a long-term hold for me, but of course, as I'm building into them, I'm keeping an eye on them, and I'm gonna be holding them for 5 years, 7 years. These are long-term investments for me. So as I said, investment does have risk. You have to know what your risk tolerance is. You have to know what is coming up for you so that you can be prepared if we are in a stretch of time, a year, 2, 3 years of a downturn in the stock market. So drop me a comment. Let me know, are you investing into the Fortune 500 companies through the funds that I shared or a different fund? And if you're a beginner, please let me know if this information is helpful on getting you started on your investment journey. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.